listening to the Motor Mouths.
Hey, Motor Mouths! What's up, boys?
Firstly, I want to express the great pleasure I take in knowing these two men.
Motor Mouth!
Yeah, Rob, you called an automotive talk show.
Oh, did I really?
Yeah, yes, you did.
You want to talk about car complaints.
Our trained staff of 2 will help.
And they know if you're doing a certain activity, whether it's motorcycling, you're under a car, you hump it.
What would a Thursday or Sunday be without you guys?
Oh, there must be something wrong with my car.
Quite frankly, there are better things to do with your time.
You know what scares me? Everybody that calls you know.
Are we on the air?
It's like, are these all cousins or something?
Okay, listen, don't you guys know I have the answers to everything?
Yeah, I want to know what the is wrong with my car.
I just want to call and say, very good show, very cool, those guys on there.
Motor Mouth!
I was told the importance of my bolts and where do they go.
Somehow that sounds pornographic.
I think there's smoke coming out of my headphones.
I'm enjoying the conversation listening to you guys.
I drive junk now. It's much better.
Are you the young man that used to fix the cars in the driveway in Brooklyn?
Somebody will call about God knows what, and you see the wheels turning around and go, oh, yeah. You do this, you do that, you go down the door, you make a sandwich, you come back, it's fixed.
So you guys have a great team. I have heard you guys before. You have a lot of fun. You seem to enjoy what you're doing.
There are answers, sometimes correct ones, and we may have them.
Motor Mouth Radio, 90.3 FM, WHPC.
Motor Mouth!
This is Motor Mouth Radio, your 1-hour automotive talk show. And now, here are your Motor Mouth, Chris Switzer and Ray Guarino.
All righty. You know, we have our finger right on the pulse of the automotive community, or somewhere near it. This is Motor Mouth Radio, your 1-hour automotive talk show, right here in the entertainment capital of the world, Garden City, Long Island. I'm Chris Switzer. And of course, if your car is rotting through, puffing blue, or producing some undescribable goo, this man will tell you all about it right here from behind the shop bench. It's Ray Guarino. How are you, my brother?
Good, Chris. That sounds like some of the cars I actually may own.
Especially the unidentifiable goo.
And I can tell you how they got that way.
I'm
right.
Sure you can.
Actually, some of the cars you own, too, maybe fall into that category.
Oh, yeah, especially the rotting through.
There you go.
You know what? I am just so tired of owning cars that rust.
Yeah.
Is that a brainstorm? Is that a newsflash?
No.
I am just so incredibly tired of owning vehicles that have rust problems.
That's why I've heard that many times from guys, and he said, so I'm going to buy a Corvette. Yeah, good idea, genius.
Oh, yeah.
Good idea.
Like the frame is fiberglass too, right?
So what that means is it'll just fall apart when you least expect it because you didn't see the rusted components.
Right, that's for sure. This is Motor Mouth Radio, your one-stop shopping when it comes down to automotive knowledge. Ray and I have been doing this silly stuff for almost 14 years, and you can actually watch us getting old right there on vaughnlive.tv/motormouthradio. Let's see how it looks good. Yeah, it looks it looks good on the feed. And you can watch us. You can go to motormouthradio.com, check it out. There's a blue bar right under the header. It says watch us. Go ahead and click on it, and all of a sudden, we pop right up. It's an amazing thing, technology, so you can check it out. So how was the week that was, my brother?
It was good. It's nice being here on a Sunday again. The parking lots are empty.
Yeah.
Very good, different.
It's good to see you here on a Sunday, too.
I'm going to throw out another, because I like this segment of the show. And it's kind of fun. You know, the question of the day. I'm going to propose another question of the day today.
And the answer is women's underwear.
No, that was the last one.
Oh,
because I like for people to participate.
Yes, it's true.
Here's one. The average age, this is the average age for someone to buy one of these is 41. What is it? And I guess the way they got
drug plan.
I guess the way they got to 41 was they really did some good research because it wasn't 40 or 45. 41. They actually nailed it to the one.
A colostomy bag.
No. So we're going to ride that through the show.
Okay, just let me think this out for a second because I always have to give you the standard wrong answer.
Well, most people that guess these, I myself, when I heard this, guessed wrong.
Well, something has to be the impact of turning 40.
One would think.
That's the way I'm looking at it. So it's all right.
Possibly, and it possibly plays in.
You've turned 40, so now it's time to go buy life insurance.
Yeah, no.
All right, well.
No. Maybe it's time to answer the phone.
All righty, let's do that. Going right to the phones, right to the fun, in a bold and unheard of move, and saying, hi, you're on with the Motor Mouths.
How about the answer could be a Harley or a Vet?
You know, the answer is a motorcycle. You're right. Excellent. Well, that makes up for the last one you blew.
How you doing, guys?
Good, Cliff. What's happening?
What's up, my brother?
Nothing. I'm just doing some errands, but I'd like to, maybe within the next hour, see if I can check out the show over by Sears.
I was going to talk about that because we have a lot of friends over there. We're supposed to get a call from the show. I did get a call from the show before this show, from our friend Gasser Steve, who told me there's 1,000 cars at that show.
Wow.
He said it's packed.
And I spoke to Paulie Windows, and he said yesterday there was about 600 cars out at Point Lookout.
Yeah, well, you know what? We'll get a report on that, too, because Steve was also at that show. So,
he said it was nice because there was a lot of cars from outside of the area that he hadn't seen before. Some guys from Jersey came in, and some guys from Staten Island. So he goes, it was kind of nice to see, like, some of these local shows are kind of becoming, destination shows, which is kind of cool.
That is good, yeah.
That is good, because it's
nice good for Long Island.
Yeah, it's nice to see cars from other areas, that's for sure.
Well, Steve and his crew, they banged out to the Dead Man's Curve a couple of weeks ago, which was in Mahwah, New Jersey. So guys from here go that way as well.
Yeah, I think Glenn did that blog on it. Yeah, a nice blog. Yeah,
he did. But, yeah, that was like the 5-day blog. It's usually one day. It went on like every day for a week. It was.
I know he was having some kind of problem with Windows, and he puts his all his feelings into those blogs.
Yes, he does. He puts a lot of work in that.
Car Hunter, Car
Hunter. Yes,
Car Hunter blog. But good, great. You guys are coming 5x5 out here in Levittown today. So just letting you know, strong signal in Levittown.
Very good. Glad we blow the doors out there. Good buddy.
Thanks. All right, guys.
All right, Cliff. Thanks.
All right, my brother.
See you later.
All right,
have a good show. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Cliff, coming up with the answer to the question.
He did.
What does the average person?
The average age for someone to buy this is 41.
Right.
And what is it? It was a motorcycle.
Motorcycle.
Which didn't apply to me. I got mine early. It wasn't like a lot of people that started in their teens.
How old were you when you got your first motorcycle?
I think I was about 18 or 19. I was in cars. Yeah, I was building. No, maybe I was 20, 21. I don't know. I was building cars. I was around them, but I put all my effort into cars at that time.
What did your mother say when you rolled a motorcycle into the garage at the tender age of 19?
Well, mothers are never happy, but I did go out and I got training, so I kind of approached it the right way, and we rolled with it. That was all.
Okay. No, that's cool.
But, Cliff brings up a great point. That show today, so like I said, Steve is supposed to call us and give us an update. He wants to be the field reporter now. So, and like I told you before the show, this is great. When friends...
That's cool.
Steve and I had a few conversations about this, how the past year he's made a lot of new friends, only because he's been going out to a lot of shows. Steve's kind of a loner, like myself. I don't do a lot of that stuff. But his wife's influence brought him out to these things.
I just like the fact that you say you're a loner.
Oh, I am.
You were going to get coronated over in Whitestone. You were now the king of Whitestone.
No, hardly. No, maybe one of the knights or the runners or the serfs or the vassals.
Right,
And that's okay. That's fine. But Steve, because of this, whatever the reason, he's been going out a lot. And like I said, did Lido Beach yesterday. He's at Sears today. He's going to be doing. He's doing a lot of shows. And his cars show very well. And this was a discussion we had which led to my thought. Steve's cars are gorgeous. You've seen them.
Yes.
They have a lot of wow factor when you come up and see them.
Heck yeah.
Because they're gases and they're very well built.
Yeah, they are.
But
big attention to detail on both of those cars. Yes.
This is the point that I want to bring up because I have been on the ground underneath his cars looking up at them with flashlights. So
sober or not?
Sober. Stone cold sober.
Okay.
And he didn't hit me with it either, so it wasn't that I fell down. And I have this problem with my own car that Steve has with his. There's in his case, it's the street value, it's the wow factor that people are attracted to.
Right.
And they just start snapping pictures.
Of course.
But it goes further with his car as it does with mine. Now, I don't have that wow factor appeal with my car. It just looks like a Pontiac. It just looks like a Pontiac needs a paint job.
Right.
But both of his cars and mine share something. There's a lot of little custom things that are hidden in plain sight, maybe. Or maybe it's just workmanship or the way things are made that isn't original. Right. And nobody ever says a word. My pet peeve this summer is I think about 10 to 12 times people have come up and they're staring in the engine compartment and they're staring both sides.
At your car.
At my car.
Right.
And they'll ask me, hey, is that something with the brakes? What is that thing? And they point to the line lock. I said, yeah, it says Hurst Roll Control right on it. One guy said, turn around, go to like 50 other cars, and everybody's got one.
Yeah, I even know what a line lock is, and I don't even own one in my car.
It's not a rare or exotic thing. No. Everybody has them. But that's what people pick out. I'm like, you're picking out the thing that's on every other car.
Meanwhile, you are the king of taking an automotive component and hiding it behind a ribbed box on your firewall or on your radiator shroud. I mean...
Yeah, you know, that, but not even that. I mean, a lot of the other stuff like bracketry and just placement and things, that's the work behind restoring a car, really, if you're customizing a car, not restoring a car. And that's when guys like Steve or Bill, you included, will notice something like that. Those are the guys I pay attention to.
If we're going to take this phone call, we're going to continue this.
All right.
Because I have a rebuttal, but we're going to take a phone call.
Okay.
Let's listen to dial tone.
So maybe rebut.
516-572-7440. And thank you. You gave me an opportunity to rebut here. I understand where you're going with this, but I don't think you're going to find the reactions that you're looking for. And here's the reason why. Because when you look at Gasser Steve's Corvette or you look at the Tempest, both of those cars, big wow factor, like you say, but there's a lot of stuff to look at. And all of those great details that you speak of get lost in the sauce because there's so much good stuff to look at. When I owned a BMW, I had that 80 BMW, and that car did not come with power seats.
Right.
Didn't come with them. It came with a very intricate manual seat arrangement for the driver and the passenger, but it wasn't power. What I did was I acquired a set of seats from an 82 or an 83, which were power. Mm-hmm. And I was able to take those seats, and you've known the story, I've told you 100 times, to take the seats, I put them, they bolted right into the car, and I was able to modify the console with the buttons, and it butted right up to the existing console. So it looked almost factory. Mm-hmm. But it took the BMW guys to notice an ordinary vehicle that just happened to have that one thing that stood out. And more people pointed that out.
Well, those are the only guys that would really notice it.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. You know, it would take a guy that owns that car to know that.
But I think if the car had a blower sticking out of the hood, or if it was jacked up or had a gas tank coming out of the grill, no one is going to really notice it.
I'm coming at it from a little bit of a different slice of that world, where, you know, I'm not using stock Pontiac stuff just to put in the car. What I'm saying is like the custom stuff. These are the guys, and what it tells you is a lot of the guys that you're meeting out there aren't building their stuff. They're buying it. Because the guys that build and the guys that have been in there and will notice like, hey, you know, how did you do that? Or you know, and those are the guys, and believe me, I didn't build it for that reason. I didn't build it for them. I built it for me.
Right.
Totally for me.
But you built it.
Just the way I do things. Mm-hmm. But it's just ironic that even a car like Steve's that has so much wow factor, people miss all the really engineering behind it.
I think it's because it is such a piece. It's so
there's the
flamboyant.
He did say today that his wife Tracy is with him today, and she was going to give out like creepers and flashlights to people. He said one guy actually got under the car and was taking pictures of stuff.
Wow.
So Steve feels there's a gasser resurgence starting on Long Island. And I think he's the key. He's the key to a lot of it because he's been bringing his cars out.
Right, and he's also the key for you keeping that ashtray sitting in the driveway with these delusions that you're going to get. It's going to gas out.
He's not the key for me keeping it. He's the key for me to flip-flopping on what I was going to do to build it. So if you remember, my original thought was to build a gasser out of it.
Right.
And then I changed.
Oh, you did?
Well, I changed to go resto mod.
Oh, that's where you were going to go.
With the cop car stuff.
Right,
What, is the first time you heard this?
No.
About it for 8 years.
I thought you were still going to go with you. I thought you went back to gasser again.
Yes. I said I originally was gasser. Then I went resto mod.
Right.
Now I went back to my original thought. So I told Steve, I said, you're going to have some competition out there, buddy.
Yeah, meanwhile, cars
and he said, bring it on.
Yeah, meanwhile, cars rotting away in the driveway.
Yeah.
Let's go to the phones. Back to the fun. Hi, you're on the Motor Mouths.
All right, guys. Don't mention my name.
Okay.
Like we don't know who you are.
Okay. I have the correct answer for the 41-year-old guy.
Okay, go ahead.
Because a guy across the street just got it.
Yeah.
Don't mention my name.
Okay.
He got his second au pair.
Wow. well, that's wrong, unnamed caller.
No, I'm telling you, it's not wrong.
It is wrong because actually Cliff called just before you and he gave the right answer.
I heard the answer.
Oh, okay.
No, but this guy across the street got it right.
Wow. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I like your answer better than Cliff's answer.
I heard this. I walked right across the street.
Well, look, they both have something they can ride.
Yes. Yep. Clean and lean.
There you go. All right, so that's great. So now it has a new meaning. I like that. Excellent.
Have a great day.
Thank you, unknown
Thank
caller.
you, unknown caller.
From Rockville Center.
Okay, you know what time it is.
Break time.
Time to hit some buttons. 516-572-7440 is the phone number. That individual behind the shop bench that is probably going to be doing stand-up by the end of the weekend is Ray Guarino. I'm Chris. What?
Garbage pail filled with it. Like they had a party.
And garbage pail inspector Ray Guarino. I'm Chris Switzer, of course, the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour. Drivers who don't care what you think of their cars.
That's me!
That's right. If you're a grandfather and your grandkids call it Poppy's Jalopy, well, you're part of the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour. So please, keep it where you got it. Where we're sending it, or where you're sticking it, or whatever have you.
We'll be back with answers to your car questions. Give us a call at 516-572-7440. Oh, I should have said the Motormouth thing.
WHPC 90.3, the radio voice of Nassau Community College, is looking for individuals, businesses, charities, or organizations in our local global community that would like to donate to support our radio station. Whether you listen locally or online, here's how it works. Go to our webpage at ncc.edu/WHPC and click Donate Now. Or if you prefer, you can send a check to WHPC Radio, 1 Education Drive, Garden City, New York, 11530. Make your check payable to the NCC Foundation. In the memo of your check, write WHPC, Donate Now. Any contribution will help defray our operating costs, and it's tax deductible. This message was brought to you by the radio voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. Streaming online at ncc.edu/WHPC.
Got a car question? Give the Motormouths a call at 516-572-7440.
Alrighty, that's the phone number. Get a hold of us, 516-572-7440. Ray Guarino behind the shop bench. I'm Chris Switzer. We're handling all kinds of automotive duties today just for you. And yes, we've answered Ray's question twice.
Yeah.
I like the second.
Answer it again, too.
I like the second answer better than the first one. Cliff came up with the first answer 5 minutes into the show, and the unknown caller from Rockville Center came up with the answer once again just before the first break.
Correct.
And
that's great.
It goes to prove they're listening.
So listen, not to beat a dead straight axle to death.
Go ahead.
I have to just want to follow up because I've been carrying this book for 2 weeks. I have this hot rod dictionary, which is...
Let me hold it up to the finest.
It's actually the ultimate hot rod dictionary from A-bombs to zoomies is what it says.
And you can see it on vaughnlive.tv/motorbouthradio.
So this is the counterculture book of everything hot rodding from old terms to some modern terms as well. And I looked up the term gasser. I wanted to see what it said.
Right.
And there's some contradictory, and I don't agree with this book.
Someone that ate too much Taco Bell.
Let me read to you.
Okay.
Gasser, number one, of course they call it a noun, late 1950s through 1960s drag racing vehicle based on an extensively modified early, generally a 30s through 50s vintage production coupe or sedan, which is true.
True.
Burning gasoline for fuel. That I agree with. 2, also a noun, any drag racing vehicle burning gasoline for fuel. That is totally wrong.
Well, it's not wrong as much as vague.
Yeah. Then there's another one, gasser stance. Now, we know what a gasser looks like.
Right. What's the gasser stance?
They claim that it's any high, overall, and generally level, sometimes slightly front-ended up body stance, as originally popularized as a means of weight transfer.
What about the car?
For the racing class, which is true. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, sometimes applied to street rods or street machines solely to achieve a traditional or nostalgia drag race look, which is where this gasser craze today is going. Because even though Steve has 2 cars that are gassers, his Corvette could be a race car, but they're not race car built.
Right.
They're not built as race cars.
Mm-hmm. They look the part, they sound the part, and I'm sure they're quick.
Oh, that Corvette is quick.
Yeah.
Now they go to gasser style, which is another one. That's featuring the look and overall characteristic of a 60s era gasser. Elements may include a gasser stance, a straight axle, which according to Steve is mandatory, and I agree.
Okay.
Big and little Halabrand wheels, which, big and little anything really works, and removed front bumper and a front-mounted moon tank, which is pretty accurate with that one. That's pretty good.
Now that was, tell me if I'm wrong here, but that is where you fueled, in the old days, that's where the gas tank was in the front.
In the moon tank, yes.
Isn't that correct?
Just enough to make a pass.
Right. That's exactly what it was built for, just enough to make a pass. But why would they put it in the front of the car?
Closest to the carburetor, so they didn't have to. That's the thing. That's a good question, because obviously,
because you always see them. You always see the gassers. The grill is gone, and you see this chrome or stainless moon tank sitting in the grill where the grill would be.
Let's look up moon tank.
And I'm like, why is that there? Why isn't it in the back of the car?
Well, a moon tank is any fuel tank as produced by Moon Equipment. That's the company that had the eyes.
Right.
Okay. They're cylindrical in shape, typically of aluminum, and generally possess only a very small capacity necessary for brief quarter-mile drag races. That's what it was.
Right.
Especially popular in drag racing applications during the 50s and 60s. More recently adapted to street rods to evoke a racy appearance.
Thinking to fuel quickly or something along those lines, but I'm thinking if you hit something with the front of the car, it's not really going to help you much.
Well, but if it was on your race car, you weren't street driving the car. It was a race car.
True. True. You still could hit something with the front of the car, and I'm thinking you got a little bomb in the front there.
Yeah, then you have other things to worry about, too, if you hit
something.
Yeah,
but it's not going to help the situation any.
No.
That's all. 516-572-7440. I just found it just kind of weird. I guess closest to the carburetor is probably the best reason why they would locate it there. I mean, it looks cool. Don't get me wrong. The cool factor, it's up there, but I just don't understand it.
Racers have fought with forever the problem of, a gas tank in the back with gas adds ballast or weight in the back where you want the weight. Right. You want the weight transfer to go back to put weight over the rear tires.
Correct.
Although you don't want 30 gallons of gas in the back because now you have to also propel that weight down a quarter-mile strip.
Yes.
So that's when racers went to either a moon tank. In later days, they went to a fuel cell, which is a fireproof, explosion-proof fuel cell that goes in the back of the car.
Mm-hmm.
It's always, with racing, there's lightweight. It takes the same engine, less amount of work to propel a lighter vehicle than the same vehicle that was heavier down a quarter-mile strip. A lighter car will be faster. But at some point, you tip, because there's also handling and control and traction, and a lighter car is a little more skittish on the track than a bigger car, too.
It doesn't get that bite,
So there's always that balance, and that's what racers fight with all the time.
But I'm just wondering why the gas tank would be in the front of the car in these particular models than in the back of the car. I just didn't see the advantage to it.
I guess when Moon designed the tank back in the day, they must have designed it for a front mount. I don't go back that far with it. I mean, I saw them when I was a kid.
Oh yeah,
they were certainly being used already for years when I was a kid. So I don't know.
Very true.
Some of our elder statesmen maybe can answer that.
516-572-7440 is your phone number to get a hold of us right here at Motormouth Radio Central. Since we are giving the show to the callers as needed, on an as-needed basis.
Just as a lend only. Hey, I got something for you. This is something you're going to be interested in.
Go ahead.
Last week I was watching TV, and I'm flipping through channels, and what do I come across but The French Connection? So I said, good
movie.
Even though I owned it on DVD, like we've talked about, I don't put the DVD in. I will watch it on TV, which I did, which led me to wonder when they were doing the scenes at the end on Ward's Island, and I said, I wonder what that building was, because there was a bathroom, there was a large bathroom, it was some kind of a factory or a court, and at the time when the movie was shot in the early 70s, that building was derelict.
Sure.
So it was probably derelict already for 10 or 15 years, well into the 60s, so it was probably vibrant maybe in the 40s and 50s. I figured maybe a manufacturing plant. So I went online to look to see if I could find out trivia to see what the building was, and I could not. But what I did find is something that will interest you. During the great chase scene on 86th Street there in your neighborhood.
It's a great story, but go ahead.
I don't know. There's many stories that go behind this.
Uh-huh.
I don't know which one you're thinking of, but William Friedkin, the director, there's no music in that scene whatsoever.
Right.
You do hear the car and you hear some shrieking, stuff like that. But he actually did score that dance, if you will, of the cars to Santana's Black Magic Woman.
Come on. That I did not know.
See, there you go. Well, that's why I'm not going to bring up the facts you know. I mean, we all know that stuff.
I did not know
He had Black Magic Woman going through his head, and that's what he used as his theme for how he directed that scene.
So if you played the chase scene in The French Connection and Black Magic Woman at the same time, they would almost play harmoniously?
Well, I'll tell you what. They didn't say that. And it's not like the Wizard of Oz and Pink Floyd. It's not like the Dark Side of the Moon.
Right.
You know, I don't think it syncs up perfectly. I think it was just in Friedkin's head, freaking head. That's what he envisioned. That's what he felt. That doesn't mean anybody else will ever feel that in the world.
No,
and they don't say anything about syncing it up. But
now that's pretty interesting. Seeing the chase scene in my head, obviously, picturing it in my head,
right.
It's almost. They almost don't go together.
Oh no, to me neither. But like I said, that's a director's vision, like an artist's vision.
Right.
They may not share that with other people. It may be that's his genius.
Well, the thing that I find astonishing about that chase scene,
I kind of thought of Helter Skelter more. You know, I think that'd sync up better. Right. But whatever.
That's a good point. But the thing that I always appreciated about that was it was filmed in what's known as guerrilla filming.
Absolutely.
There were no permits. He just got, what was his name? The stunt driver who plays the FBI guy, had the small part as the FBI individual that was looking over Popeye Doyle. I forgot his name. It just popped out of my head. But anyway, he was also the stunt driver. And Friedkin was in the back of that Pontiac screaming in his ear, "Don't kill anybody!"
Yeah. They did have help because the real Popeye Doyle, the real policeman, he was actually on set.
Yes, he was.
And he used some of his connections with the NYPD to have a couple of blocks either way shut down on the quick to get some of that scenes done. And there were people who kind of wandered into the set, and as it were.
Oh, yes, and it's that famous scene where the Pontiac gets broadsided by the white Ford Torino.
Right.
That guy was on his
going
way
to work. Right. Now, the scene with the woman in the baby carriage, which was also very hair-raising,
right.
That was scripted. They did say that was very carefully scripted, very well rehearsed. There was absolutely no chance anybody was getting hurt in that scene.
Did you hear the interview with her? She did a small interview, and she said that she wouldn't have minded if the stunt driver was driving the car, but Gene Hackman was driving the car.
Right.
She was like, that's not really too cool.
Right.
Let's go to the phones. Back to the fun. How you on with the Motor Mouths?
Hello, Chris. Hello, Professor Ray. Hello, Joey D. This is Howie. How you doing, guys? How are you?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. It's the Big Man. What's up, cutie patootie? What are you doing?
Well, I'm the Motor Mouth correspondent here in New Jersey. I'm in Oakhurst, New Jersey, at Crown
looking for the blimp
Cadillac, and we're having a Cadillac and an all-car show here.
Very cool. What do you see when you look across the vast property of vehicles?
We see basically about 75, 80 cars. Ranging. There's also some foreign cars that have been also very nice to look at. But one in particular, I can show you that it's in the showroom. Okay.
Yeah.
Here, and
it's showing us.
It's a 1959 Cadillac Fleetwood. It's a 4-door. It's white with blue interior, and it is quite beautiful.
Wow.
And you know I favor white.
Combination?
Yeah, white and blue on a Fleetwood. Very nice.
Very nice. And we're here at Gold Coast Cadillac. It's part of the Raritan River region of the Cadillac LaSalle Club.
Oh, and you are there with your vehicle, I'm assuming, right? Your 59 Fleetwood.
Yeah, I was going to bring my Cadillac. I got it all ready, but I had some brake issues that I have to look at, and I ran out of time. I'm fixing everybody else's car. The Oldsmobile, the Toyota, the Ford. Didn't get to the Cadillac.
Didn't get to it. So you're a civilian today, I'm assuming.
I'm a civilian, but here, going to a Cadillac show, don't tell anybody, but I brought a black Mercedes.
We are secret safe with us. Don't worry. People have switched off the radio already.
We just got a message from our field correspondent Cliff, who said, "Tell him foreign cars are not nice to look at." So, just passing that along.
So how long? Go ahead.
Mark, always when you travel, you want to travel with a safe vehicle, and if it's not safe, don't take it.
That's very poignant in this conversation, Howie. I do appreciate it. So how long are you going to be there for?
I'm going to be here for another few hours. I'm going to try to leave before the Staten Island, Brooklyn traffic that happens.
Good luck.
When's that?
Yeah, it's backed up now. Don't worry about it.
Try it. Better have good brakes when I go through Staten Island and Brooklyn.
You'll be using them a lot. That's for sure. Well, that's good. Well, I'm glad you're having a good time. I'm glad everything is going well down in Jersey. Where was that again, you said? What was the town?
The town is Oakhurst, New Jersey.
Oakhurst, New Jersey.
Near Long Branch, and we're at Gold Coast Cadillac in Oakhurst, New Jersey.
All righty. Well, go on down there and tell them the big man sent you.
I will. Be well, everybody, and it's a beautiful show.
Thank you, my brother. We'll talk soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All righty. Hearing from the big man. That actually wasn't bad. He did pretty good on that one.
Yes.
Yeah. He was excellent.
You beat him down appropriately over the years, so he's learned how to deal with you.
He's rocking and rolling. That's good. We follow right along.
Yeah.
That's Ray Guarino. I'm Chris Switzer. You can check out the show on Performance Motorsports Network. You can also listen to us on iHeartRadio. We're proud, very proud, of the fact that they have no common sense at all to put us on. It's just amazing. Bob Steele and the boys at Performance Motorsports Network. Gotta love them. They tolerate us. And we're also number one in the 34 to 50-year-old male range on Performance Motorsports Network. I wonder why, right?
Said one guy who listened. Put the demographic on the map.
Got a lot more of this mess coming your way right here at Motormouth Radio. Plus your calls at 516-572-7440. Keep it where you got it.
Your car not running right? Let the Motormouths help you out at 516-572-7440.
Bob Stevens on the radio. Join me for Artist Spotlight, a show that spotlights the greatest singers of the rock era. Artist Spotlight looks back at your favorite performers and updates us on what they're doing now. Musical themes like Motown and the British Invasion and other milestones are revisited. So listen to Artist Spotlight on 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College.
Listen to Artist Spotlight, Monday at 5 p.m. on WHPC 90.3 FM, the voice of Nassau Community College.
Hi, this is Butch Patrick, and you're listening to Motormouth Radio, just like me.
All righty. Welcome back to Motormouth Radio. That was Butch Patrick. He's going to be with us, right?
Next week.
Next week. We're going to be talking to him and Pat Priest and Claudia Wells. All are going to be here in the studio, and that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going on next Sunday. Why is it going on next Sunday, Ray Ray?
Cruise to the show.
Yes.
Eisenhower Park.
Yes. I actually thought it was this Sunday, but it's next Sunday.
Yeah, you've made a few flubs over the weeks that I've caught where you... and I'm thinking to myself, don't say that.
Yeah, I'm good that way.
But anyway, whatever.
Yeah, I know.
It's okay. No one's listening. Anyway, I think we had some early closure to Kilowatt Kevin's squeaky rear end in the GTO problem.
Yeah, when we last left, he had just a squeaky rhythmic sound coming from the back of the car, right?
Yes.
And we did not come up with a conclusion as of...
Well, because he hadn't diagnosed it.
Right.
And then we did talk about it, and he found this when he worked on it on Saturday.
What in the hell?
Come on, you're a car guy. You should know. You should name that part in 2 seconds.
That looks like... Hold on. Let me see. What in the world is that?
A very dry, unoiled, ungreased part.
Those are roller bearings.
Yes. They're actually needle bearings.
Roller
bearings would be round. Needle bearings are cylindrical in shape, like those.
Is that? It can't be universal, is it?
That is the universal joint.
It is a universal joint.
Yeah. That's what he found when he came over and borrowed my...
The picture's taken so close.
Well, yeah, to get the detail.
It looks bigger than I thought it was.
Yeah.
Oh, good God.
He borrowed my universal press because there is a tool to take out the universal joints instead of a hammer and a socket. So I said, Kevin, I got the press. I haven't used it in years. The bottom of the drawer of the toolbox. Come take it. And he did. And and even with that, it was a little tough getting these things out. They were very, very dry. And as you saw, very rusty. And he's thinking now, he didn't do, that was the rear joint. He hadn't done the front yet as of last night when I saw him. And he's thinking that, you know what, I think that's the problem.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Which is good, because he did dump the oil out of the rear end. He took the 90 weight out as the first line of attack that we recommended to him. And looked at it and said, you know what, he's never changed it, and he's had that car for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't look bad. You know, it didn't have a lot of metal in it, didn't have clutch material, you know, not like, well, he doesn't have a posi, so it wouldn't have clutch material. But didn't have any spider gears floating in it or, you know, anything like that, side gears or whatever.
Find any debris in there.
No. So he changed it, put a new gasket in, put fresh fluid in, and then went on to the U-joints. And that's what he found when he first looked at that one joint. So
wow.
I think that was it.
Sure, that'd definitely be the cause. Now, my question to you is, should he replace that U-joint with one with a grease fitting on it?
Well, he is. Yeah, he's going to use grease fitting. I like to use in my car, and the ones that are in my car right now have no grease fittings because they're solid joints.
Mm-hmm.
A U-joint with a grease fitting, it's shaped like a cross or an X, depending on how you line it up. And the center has to be hollow.
Yes.
For the grease to go somewhere.
Sure.
But being that it's hollow makes it has less strength if there's a high stress application, like a hole shot. So, Kevin chose to use greasable, which is great because he doesn't drive his car hard, and he's gonna, that's gonna be perfect. I went with the solid ones and larger joints. By the way, U-joints come in sizes. They come in, and I don't remember. Vic is the master at this because he builds drive shafts. I think in my car it's a 5130 or 5140 is the number, or 5120 is the standard size, and that may be. Vic never did give me the answer. I don't know if that relates to the cap size, if it's, in millimeters or whatever. I don't know. But I know that there are different sizes. And if you want to upgrade to a larger size, like I had done, you need to change the yoke as well because the bearing cap fits in the yoke. And it's all available. But, go to a drive shaft place and they know all that stuff. They speak that fluently.
Mm-hmm.
So
the 2 or 3 drive shaft places that are probably on the East Coast right about now.
There's a couple right around here, believe it or not.
Right next to the Scotch Tape store.
Well, Nassau Drive Shaft, where Vic works, they do a lot of shafts for a lot of people. But there's a Suffolk Drive Shaft, and there's a couple others, too. There's a few around that there are a few of them. Yeah. They're kind of like transmission shops. And when people service the transmission, that's when the drive shaft will get looked at.
Right. I always think you'd bring it to a blacksmith or something like that.
Well, you might. You haven't seen the tools they have at Nassau Drive Shaft. It's pretty impressive.
I'm sure they have impressive tools at the big shaft.
There's open fires and hammers and all sorts of cool stuff going on back there.
Mm-hmm.
Behind that curtain.
Discussing shafts all day long. 516-572-7440. There's the phone number.
So to get away from your shaft fetish, we talked on Thursday. We talked about it really off the air mostly. I had told you that I'm adding a new car to the Starfleet Command at my house.
I know, but do you also pick and choose what you like to discuss off air compared to on air? So I don't usually press when it comes down to those things. I let you, dispense information as you see will.
Well, sometimes what happens is the show runs out of time, and then it's like, oh, yeah, by the way, this was something else I was thinking of. It's not a choice. It was just the way it worked out. I had been thinking about the car in question is a 2012 Chevy Cruze.
Right.
And I was highly considering an extended GM warranty.
Right.
And you took the other position of not buying an extended warranty.
I just, like I always say to you, I go, okay.
Right. Well, you know what? Everybody has an opinion.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And there's arguments on both sides. And I'm not 100% committed. I'm trying to find the reason to be committed one way or the other. And what I did is I did a Google search on percentages of people who've used an extended warranty.
Okay.
And there's no clear data. But I found the guy, and I know he's the guy my chiropractor always cites when he talks about money matters. And you've mentioned this guy's name, too. I know you've listened to him on the radio. And his point was exactly what you said. I mean, you could have taken it right. If I didn't know, I would have thought you were reading off his website. Where he said, no, do not buy an extended warranty. Take the money, put it in the bank, and use that as a car account. That's what he said. That's what he said.
That's funny because that's basically, I'm trying to think who it would probably be.
I know you listen to the guy.
Yeah.
So who's the money guy you listen to on AM radio?
There's a couple of them. I mean, I listen to Josh Jelinski.
That's the guy, Josh
Jelinski. I listen to Rick Edelman on WABC. I listen to Dave Ramsey on WOR.
Right. So that was the thought. And he gave some reasons to back his claim. Some of them I agreed with, and some of them I didn't, because he's not a car guy. So some of his reasons were a little thin. It was all economic based.
Okay, and I understand that, and that's what kind of flummoxes me in a way, because I listen to you and I listen to someone like our technical advisor, the man in the clouds, Joe D., and you both tout going for the extended warranty, and I keep going, these are guys that I automotively look up to, and they're saying something that I completely disagree with. I don't think you should go with the warranty.
That happens. And Joe is one of the guys. Okay, the guys that I respect, whose opinion I respect on this, are the guys who own the shops who deal with third-party warranties.
Good point.
So that's what I'm kind of really basing my information on. But then when Joe, who's a tech, and a high-level tech, when he voices his opinion, I also listen to that, sometimes with a little more credence than the guys who are just fixing the car.
I agree.
Because Joe's the guy who's diagnosing the car.
Sure.
And that's what was leading me that way. So, we're not going to solve it. We're not going to come to an answer here. And that wasn't my point. What I want to do is throw it out, and if listeners had any opinions on it, one way or the other, or if they've had good or bad, and I know a lot of the bad stories, and it usually comes with third-party warranties.
That's really a good way of going with the show.
So that's what I want to do. I want to throw it out to people. Just like the question, since the question was answered, we'll go on to something else.
We're still waiting for a third.
Because that was the last thing on my list, so somebody better say something, because I'm out of things to say.
Let's go to the phones. Let's go to the fun. Hi, you're on with the Motormouths.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Hey, Mark.
What's up, brother?
What's going on, man?
How are you?
So do you have an extended dealer warranty on your Renault Caravelle?
Yeah, it cost me $15,000 a month.
I believe it.
It's an issue.
That's just in case you have to change a belt or an oil filter.
And they can't fix the damn thing. They don't have a clue. Yeah. They don't know how to rotate the air in the tires. I don't get it. Anyway.
Spin the wheel. So what's happening today, Mark?
I have a question. I don't know if I mentioned it to you guys. With the old Z34.
The Lumina.
Yeah. It has a clicking starter issue. Did I ever mention this to you before?
I think you have.
Yes, I think you have.
Please refresh our memory.
And I think I told you, hit it with a hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's kind of hard to get to.
This is the one that's hiding under the cross member.
Yeah, bingo.
It was just like my daughter's boyfriend's Lumina that I said every time I did an oil change, I said, God, I hope I never have to do a starter on this car.
Yep, and the alternate is even worse.
Yeah. I agree.
Even worse.
That's because they put that stuff, the engine assembly, in the cradle, and the cradle goes up into the car.
Yep.
And the way to do it is reverse of installation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, I'll refresh your memory.
Please.
Turn the key, click, turn the key, click, turn the key, click, and then after a while of doing that, it starts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
So I figured it's time to change the starter. And I changed it. I got a brand new AC Delco. God only knows where it's made from. And I couldn't do it because you need a lift.
You went to Rock Auto for that, right?
Actually, yes, I did.
Right. Okay.
And it was I think it was like $100.
Right.
Anyway, had the station put it in because you need a lift to do it. And I get in the car, turn the key, click. Anyway, a real long story short, they said the ignition switch is bad.
Oh, wow.
Which is on the steering column. You have to drop the column.
Right. That is not the key switch. That's the switch that's on the column.
Right, where the key turns stuff.
Right.
Pushes the switches. Anyway, that was a whole nightmare, but we don't have this much time to talk about it. Anyway, they replaced it.
Right.
I think I had to get the darn thing. It was like $130, okay, brand new from, I think, Rock Auto. No, actually, no, some guy in Florida. Anyway.
Okay.
And get in the car, turn the key, click.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, God, and they checked the neutral safety switch. That's fine.
Now, that switch, by the way, Mark, that switch does have an adjustment procedure to it.
Yes.
It does need to be adjusted. Okay.
Yes, it does.
As long as they know that.
The ignition switch, you mean?
Yes.
The ignition switch itself,
Got it.
And, well, actually, I was playing with the damn thing yesterday, and I put it in neutral, and I tried to start the car, and I would move the shifter around. So apparently the neutral safety switch does work.
Okay, good.
Okay.
And so I got really annoyed because there's really, you can climb under the car and jump the terminals on the starter, and it clicks. It
right.
It starts every time.
The thing to do, and before Joe, I don't think Joe is able to listen today because I know he'd be jumping up and down about this. The thing to do is the diagnostic, and you can do it with a voltmeter or just a 12-volt test light. And you need to take that light and put it at the points. You can look at the schematic in the path of how the voltage flows to the starter, and you should see it at each of those points when someone activates the key. And where you don't see it, that's where you look. That's where your problem is.
If you know what you're looking for and where to look.
Right. Well, that's what I said with the help of the schematic.
Right.
Well, actually, what the station did after complaining about it for a couple hours, when the click happens at the starter, it's like 6 volts.
Yeah.
Okay, and then all of a sudden it just miraculously gets full voltage, starts right up. Now, I'm at a loss for words. I'm about to get a big sledgehammer.
I think you have some really good words ready.
Yeah, but this is FM broadcast radio.
Yes, yes. We appreciate that, Mark.
None we can share here right now. I understand. Yeah.
And I really don't know. I mean, the guy says, "Well, bring it to the station, leave it here for a couple of days. We'll figure it out." But I don't know if he's going to figure it out, to be honest with you. I mean, he's good.
Well, Joe just said what was going through my head, which I didn't want to interrupt. It was a voltage drop. You're dropping 6 volts across something somewhere.
Yep.
Right.
And then, but yet you click it after 4, 5, 10 times, it ging.
You see, the other thing I would have said right in the beginning, before you did any parts changing, is I would have thought, you know what, starters would get a dead spot on the armature, and they would do the exact same thing.
That's what I was thinking.
Yep, exactly.
That's why when you tap it with a hammer,
right,
you kind of jar it, and it'll catch the next bar on the armature, and it'll let it spin.
Yep, I used to do that years and years ago.
Yeah.
But again, you can't get to the darn thing. It's just
yes,
it's
I understand.
buried, you know.
Right.
So
No,
I don't know what to do. I mean, I don't want. I'm already into the station for $500.
Yeah.
You know, and he knows I'm not going to pay him until he fixes it. But you know, I mean, the starter was 100, and the switch was 130, and shipping and yada yada yada.
Again, he's got to do some diagnostics with a voltmeter.
He did. He did. He had people come in, his friends who are good with this stuff, and they scratched their head.
Wow.
You know, it's really it's you know, I'm just. You know, I don't even mind running a wire to a button on the dashboard to push it.
Nice. A big knife switch.
You know, the Rube Goldberg deal. And it will work every time.
Yes.
But I can't do that if I put the remote start back in.
Right.
I had taken that device
Correct.
out because it was figured that maybe that was causing the problem. And it wasn't.
How about connections, Ray? What do you think about, like, just
Well,
going through all the connections?
Wait, let me reiterate on that. I changed the you know, some of the connections were green here and there.
Right.
They put new terminal ends on them, and I replaced the negative terminal lead right to the battery.
Okay, because
That
I'm
was
thinking
a little flaky.
I'm thinking of the old Ford wiggle test.
Yeah.
Where you just start shaking the stuffing out of some of those wires that are leading from the starter to the battery, and therefore seeing what transpires from there. Because now it comes down to, I mean, how many more components can you change in the starting circuit?
I don't know. And that neutral safety switch, where that thing is, jeez. And I got the gutsy, and I there's a million wires going to the darn thing. Anyway, so I pulled a big harness off of it, you know, disconnected it, and and of course I tried to start it just to see, and of course nothing.
Mark, what year is the Lumina again?
It's a 94 Z34.
That's what I thought. There you go, Joe. 94 Z34. As Joe goes into all data to look at the diagrams.
You got Joe
one of the things that we'll do typically with that is a test light at the battery and see if it's getting battery voltage. You know, because there could be an issue on the feed side for the battery. It could be anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It could be anywhere.
Yeah. Because that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, how many other components can there be?
Battery positive cable goes right to the starter.
Sure.
Yes, it does. Yep, and that was checked, and it's fine. So I mean, I don't get it.
It's gonna be one of those that it's obviously not jumping out and hitting you in the face. It's gonna be something that's gonna be a little more cryptic.
Hey, Mark, how old is the battery?
The battery, I would have to say the battery is probably a year and a half, 2 years old, tops.
All right.
You know, it's fairly new. Yeah, it has a lot of kick to it.
Yeah, because
the other thing that could be, instead of the ignition switch on the column, the actual key switch. If that's in, and again, you can check that with the test light. If when you activate it, if the test light lights, okay, the contact makes contact. If you put it to the start position and the test light doesn't light on that terminal, it could be that switch as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's you know, I maybe my thinking was wrong, but when I had turned the key, when it clicked time, and I started moving the shifter around, it would, you know, you hear it click 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 as you pass the spots it would start in, you know.
Joe just asked me, and he's absolutely right. Is that the pass key with the VAT system? Do you have a little resistor chip in the key?
No.
Okay.
Regular key.
I wasn't thinking that either. But 94, I think, was when they started that on some cars. I know the Impalas had them in 94.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's a whole. There's a resistance in a key, and if it's not matched, the car won't start. But I didn't know it to ever click. I knew it to just not operate.
I mean, in the old days, when the starter would click, the solenoid's sticky, whatever, and you change that, you just change the whole starter and be done with it, you know?
But what you're seeing now is you're getting a little peek into Joe's mind of how diagnostics are done. You can't discount anything. You have to look at everything that could be possible. And that's why I said even the ignition, the key switch could be, if when people run with a lot of keys on their ring, like Chris, it stresses that key. It actually stresses the ignition cylinder, the lock cylinder, and it causes failures after a while. Some cars were prevalent for that.
Oh, and also, did I mention to you at one time how GM fixed the key problem, the ignition key problem?
I think you did, but refresh us, please.
My in-laws has a Chevy something or other down there, and I brought it to.
In Arizona, right?
In Arizona, yes. Thank you. Good memory, actually.
Yeah.
Is that where they are? Okay.
Somewhere.
I brought it to GM, to one of the Chevy dealers there. And
right. Now I remember.
They took the car in the back, and what they did, the plastic sheeting around the key.
Yeah.
It had like a long cylindrical type thing, so you can put a lot of stuff on there if you wanted to. They took that off. They replaced the plastic with a little tiny hole, so you can only get a little key ring in there.
Right.
And then, but then you put that little key ring onto a bunch of keys, and it's the same thing.
I know.
I mean, what do they think? Everybody's stupid? Come on.
Good try, though.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
No, and that shows you how prevalent that problem was. It was a real problem with a lot of cars.
Yeah, sure was.
Especially those 70s, 80 eras GMs with the ignition key in the column.
And that issue is still haunting GM to this day.
Look at the housing around that. It was always completely devoid of paint from the keys flapping back and forth. And
just
grinding away. And you know what's funny? Just recently, last week, I saw or read wherever somewhere that they're trying to go after not Chevrolet, not GM, but the people who designed it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Like it's their fault.
Right.
You know, I mean, come on.
Well, that's the thing. You can't, you can take steps to do everything, but you cannot predict or prevent what the actual end user is going to do.
Mm-hmm. No, that's for sure.
It's crazy stuff.
Joe just asked if the relay from the alarm or the remote starter, is it still in place in the car, the relay? The alarm gizmo itself actually has about 6 relays in, but it's disconnected. It's not in line anymore. All disconnected. Okay, because unlike my daughter's car, which I think has a latched relay, yours may be a not latching relay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the guy who put that thing in, the boys at the station were making fun of it, like what a rat's nest. I didn't install the darn thing, and he was right. It was awful.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
Well,
let's go
with the wiggle test, Mark.
Well, if I get information, I'll send it your way, Mark.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot,
All
guys.
right.
You have a good day.
All righty, my brother. You too.
Take care, guys.
We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Your car not running right?
Wow.
Quite frankly, there are better things to do with
thing
your
I want to
time.
talk about.
Motormouth
Radio. We got to bring up some music.
90.3 FM, WHPC.
I feel like Dan Ingram was just talking over the stuff here.
Yeah, well, make it interesting, and you will be like Dan Ingram.
There we go. Music here somewhere. What was that you said? I'm sorry.
I said make it interesting, and you will sound like Dan Ingram.
Hey.
No, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about dealer-installed stuff because it came about with this car transition we're doing right now in the house.
Alrighty. More dealer-installed stuff right here at Motormouth Radio. Ray Guarino, I'm Chris Switzer, the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour. Drivers that don't care what you think of their cars.
Present.
That's true, right? Ray is front and center right here. So you could be part of the honor group that Ray is part of just by not admitting to it. Not admitting to listening to the show either. I'm Chris Switzer. That's Ray Guarino. This is Motormouth Radio. We're coming right back at you, whether you like it or not.
Quite frankly, there are better things to do with your time. Motormouth Radio on 90.3 FM, WHPC.
WHPC, Garden City, New York, the voice of Nassau Community College.
Join WHPC's Daily News Wrap-Up, weekdays at 4:30 p.m., bringing you a complete report of the day's news home and abroad, as well as sports, weather, and many other informative features.
We're Long Island's FM alternative.
Got a car question? Give the Motormouths a call at 516-572-7440.
Back at you with a vengeance. This is Motormouth Radio, and we're going to go right to the phones, right to the fun. How you on with the Motormouths?
Hey, guys. Don't mean to be a second caller. I guess second caller today. But it was good. But a great topic you have today about the warranty situation. And I have a lot of strong thoughts about that stuff.
Please share them.
Yes.
Real quick. I've always told my friends, a lot of, relatives that are into cars, they're always calling you up, should I take the warranty and this and that? And I always tell them, the car's $20,000, but the warranty is $2,500. That means the car's $22,500, and you're paying for something ahead of time that hasn't broke yet.
Right.
So
True.
you're paying for stuff that you don't know is going to break, and I find that ridiculous. And I always say, take that $2,500 and put it in a bank, put it in a CD.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, you know what? If you spent $500 out of it, you still got, $2,000 left over, or you made interest on it, or whatever it may be.
I'm with you, Cliff. Yeah.
But on the other hand, I'm very skeptical about things that, I swear, I must get a phone call once or twice a week, just about every one of my cell phone, my house phone, of companies cold calling you trying to sell you warranties.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I'm sure you guys got, all these spam calls.
Oh, I don't even answer my home phone anymore.
Chris, Cliff, you buy newer cars, and so they have you in their radar. That doesn't happen to me.
That is true.
I get these calls. They don't care if the car's over 100,000 miles. It's like a crazy, ridiculous thing. And then you hear a lot of horror stories about guys that they have to approve the repair, but they don't get the repair approved. And I don't think it's a great deal. But on the other hand, I went to buy my washer and dryer. Of course, when my old avocado-colored washer was ready to go, I was running that thing like a billion miles. And I decided I'm going to go first class and buy 2 front-loading Electrolux, great. I could throw like 5 loads in at once, and so I priced it out in, Home Depot, and I priced it out at one of the other stores. And then at the end, somebody said to me, go to Jay's over in Levittown. Yeah. They always have that commercial like 3 o'clock in the morning. Like if you didn't buy from Jay's, you paid too much. I walked in there, told them what I wanted. I said, listen, you say if I buy it somewhere else and pay too much, give me a price. And the guy gives me the same price as I got in I think Home Depot, but he goes to me, what I am going to do, I'm going to throw in like an extended 3-year warranty. I'm like, I don't really need that. He goes, well, listen, I'm going to throw a 3-year extended warranty. I'm going to have it in your house tomorrow at 8 a.m. I said, okay, well, that's a great deal. I didn't really care about the warranty. If I tell you I've used the warranty like 4 or 5 times already.
Wow.
The dryer and the washer. And it's so complicated. It's not like you open up your old washer or dryer and you replace the belt or the motor or the pump. It's like all electronic circuit boards now. And, and things go off balance, and it's just these new. So that was the only thing that I was against, and I ended up getting by accident, and it worked out for me.
Isn't that amazing, Cliff, how that works out? I'm with you, because even Ray had an issue with a major appliance as well that he had to use the warranty.
That's right. I bought my kitchen appliances at Jay's, and then I bought an additional 5-year extended warranty. And I haven't had to use it. But my refrigerator, when you call for that, you take your phone, hold it up to the port on the refrigerator, and the refrigerator, through the phone, communicates with the mothership. It's bizarre. But, Joe is telling me he's reiterating something that I think, where transmission in a modern car is an average of $3,000. I paid a little more than that for the one of my wife's car from Pat, and the warranty was $1,500. So depending what the deductible was, that's when you come out ahead. And like I said to Chris,
But what if you don't, if you take care of the car and the transmission doesn't go?
She was
then
taking.
You're ahead $1,500.
But Cliff, she was taking care of her car, driving it, and what happened was the cooler clogged. It was a fault with that type of a Ford transmission, where Pat said, "Look, there's nothing you did wrong with this thing. It was going to fail unless you decided to take the cooler out, which you wouldn't have known to do." And he says, "This is just the failure we see." And there you are, over $3,000. But like I said to Chris, it's like buying life insurance. You're saying I'm going to die, and they're saying no, you're not.
Yeah.
Same thing with the extended warranty.
It is what it is. And going back to your previous call with the Lumina, I texted you before. My mother had the same car, and she had a ticking noise in the motor, and she went into a guy. And the guy told her, and she only had like 50,000 miles on this like 96 Lumina. Oh, you need a whole new motor. And I was actually ordering the motor, like from a junkyard, rebuilt, whatever. Turns out it was, I said, I got it out. I said, let me take it to a guy I know, very reliable, honest guy. And it was the intake manifold. Yeah. And, which is time. It was a big job. It was costly because they had to take the whole top of the motor apart.
Right. It's about an $800 job.
Yeah. And then, what? And that was it. Exactly. You were right on the money. I think it was like $750 or something. Yeah. And, but as compared to a brand new motor out of it, it was ridiculous. So, a lot of times it's also having the right guy to diagnose it, the right honest mechanic that knows what he's doing. Right. A guy like that, over at Dial, Yep. So, but, all right, guys.
Right, Cliff. Well, thank you for the input.
Yeah, thank you so much, my brother.
Yep. Save that money on those warranties, except on appliances.
Except on major appliances. All righty, my brother. We'll talk soon. I'm glad Cliff agreed with me. That's very cool. But no, I do agree with you with the major appliance, just for the fact you and Cliff on the major appliance, just because computers don't like extreme heat or extreme cold.
Tell me what makes up most of our modern cars. Computers and body control modules. Come on. And what environment are they in? One of the worst environments in the world.
Heat and extreme cold.
And Joe's telling me, don't worry, something will go. Joe and I agree. And I tell you, when a guy like Joe says that, who works on that stuff every single day.
I know.
But you know what? The question is, would I be the lucky guy? Why would I be lucky with that? I'm not lucky with anything else, really. So, I don't know. I don't know. It's hard. I got to see some numbers is what I got to see. Right. But my sister-in-law, who's bought a brand new car to replace this Cruise. Mm-hmm. She bought a Hyundai, an SUV. She wanted a remote start. That was the one thing she wanted to have, because the Cruise has a remote start. She wanted it. She could not get it. And I said, make sure you get it factory installed.
Right.
They don't sell it factory, so they don't offer it. The only way they offer it is dealer installed. And I said, you know what? I don't know. They may send it out to Joe's Stereo, not that Joe, but
Phil's Auto Radio,
Joe's Stereo Shop, and some pimple-faced kid. I work on car radios all the time. He's cutting your wires and harnesses and putting this thing in. I said,
Yes, the frustration continues. For Ray Guarino, I'm Chris Switzer. This is Motormouth Radio. We'll talk on Thursday, and always remember, don't follow us home. See ya.
Bye.